I know it's been a minute since I've posted anything on this channel, and that's partly because I have a day job now that takes up a lot of my time, but also because I've been posting some cringy shit, as well as some podcasts, some stupid sketch comedies, more cringy shit. All of that is on my other channel called Tier List Tuesdays. I would love it if you guys went and subscribed to that, because I definitely put a lot more effort into that channel than I do into my own music. But this is music, so it's going on this channel. Yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about the music gear that I've acquired over my time as a musician, because I don't think I've sold any more than one instrument in my collection, and it was like an electronic drum kit that sounded like absolute garbage. Kinda wish I still had it. Let me tell you guys a quick story of how I kind of got interested in music as a form of entertainment. So when I was growing up, my immediate family, my brother, my mom, and my dad, we would all take our summer and winter, time away from school, vacation, whatever you want to call it, to travel from where we lived in Georgia all the way up to the state of West Virginia to visit my extended family. I remember one time in particular when I was maybe 6 or 7 years old, we were on our way up to West Virginia, and we were parked at a gas station, and my dad was pumping gas, and my mom was inside getting snacks. I don't care, it doesn't matter. The point is, my brother and I were alone in the car, and we were messing with the little FM dial, to get those sweet staticky sounds and, see what we came across on different radio stations. Because, we were kids and that was, exciting to us. And then we came across the beginning of a little song called Coming Undone by Korn. Now, if you haven't heard that song, or maybe haven't heard it in a while, I'll refresh your memory as to how it goes. No, I'm kidding. I'll use my words. I'm sorry. It starts off with that nasty, distorted guitar playing that low D note. And then the drums come in with those creepy vocals on top of it for that first verse. It's very dissonant sounding. And then the guitar part gets a little heavier and the guy starts to yell for the pre-chorus. And then it ends that part with a big delay effect on the guy's vocals. And then everyone just slams into the chorus. It's fucking sick, okay? It's a cool song. But the moral to all of this, or the key factor rather in this story, is that it was something that both my brother and I, but, we're talking about me, I heard music that I had never heard before, or anything like. I never would have imagined music that sounded like that, especially at that age. It was aggressive and angry, and it was just emotional. It made me feel something, which was really weird, being a 6-year-old and being like, I resonate with this. But up until that moment, I'd only ever heard 90s country and Bob Seger, and no offense to Bob Seger and 90s country music, but what the fuck is Korn compared to that, So anyway, we get to West Virginia to see my grandparents, and it's fun and happy for a minute, and then the first thing that we do after we say hello to everyone is we go to my grandmother's bedroom and we steal her CD player boombox thing that had the bug-eye speakers. You know what I'm talking about? Maybe put a picture here, me. Thanks, me. We stole that from my grandmother, and we took it to the little basement area, which is where we played with Legos and shit. And we plugged it in, turned on the FM radio, and just started scrolling back and forth through the radio stations again, trying to find that same song. And we fucking did. It came on, and we both collectively lost our shit. We heard the guy say, oh, next up is Coming Undone by Korn on fucking Dope FM. And we were just that's the one. And we jammed to it, and it was just a blissful moment of just we never thought we'd hear it again until weeks later or something. And then by that point, it's already out of our minds, And I was thinking to myself as I listened to that song by Korn, that these people were making a very kind of niche, expressive form of art, and they were expressing themselves through this thing that people were enjoying, and because people were enjoying it, these people could continue to make a living expressing themselves in this, very interesting and crazy way. And I was thinking to myself, man, that's absolutely beautiful. I love that there's a way to make money through your expressiveness, and it's your creativity. And, you can share that with the world. That's amazing. It's starting to, really build a passion in my heart for making music. Except, like I said, I was a Dumbo, baby brain fucking 6-year-old, so I was probably more I like this, and just didn't think of it much beyond that, And now I gotta put my microphone on a stand to show you that Korn's Coming Undone on fucking Dope FM led me to getting this fucking keyboard. So I told my mom that I wanted to play an instrument, to make music. And she told me that, because like my birthday was coming up or whatever, she told me that if I could pick an instrument, she would get me one for my, I don't know, 8th birthday, 7th birthday, somewhere in there. So I went to my elementary school music teacher and I said, I want to play an instrument, but I just told her, I was like, I like music, I want to play music. So she probably said something very, like, understandably kind of smart, like, oh, you probably could play the piano. It's very versatile as an instrument. You can play a lot of music with a piano. And I was like, okay, piano it is. And then I got this. I actually grew to hate playing the keyboard, especially this one, because I wasn't playing music like Korn, so I just kind of like stopped enjoying it because it was a piano. But of course, I actually grew to love it quite a bit, and I still use it a good bit to this day. I took piano lessons for, I don't know, like 8 years or something like that, and none of it was useful because none of my teachers ever taught me anything about music theory. They would just say things like, okay, Taylor, here are all the scales. Now learn all of them note by note. Memorize them or you suck, And it wasn't until I was like, I don't know, 15 or some crazy shit before I learned that music theory was even a thing and that there were like patterns to playing major scales. Anyway, this is the actual keyboard. This is the first instrument that I ever got. This is the exact one. I've had it for well over a decade at this point. And I've used this on a surprising amount of recordings and even performances when I was in bands. I used this to make some of the string sections in my song Mildew from my extreme metal album called Putrid. They're not super noticeable in that song because it's kind of just a wall of sound, but they're in there. Trust me. I also used it when a former band of mine used to perform a song called Sarah. I managed to find a quick snippet of that. Okay, that's enough. Anyway, let's talk about what this thing can do. So this thing is actually really sick for people who are just starting to learn an instrument for a lot of different reasons. It's got this nice little display up here so you can see like what note you're playing and how it looks on sheet music or whatever. Also, there's like almost too many different sounds on this thing. So much so that they're labeled up at the top here. You've got like your piano sounds. If you click these buttons over here, you can get to these numbers a little faster. We've got strings. That's pretty cool. We've also got these individual drums. Each key is a different percussive hit, which I think is pretty cool. This harmony button lets you do something. I have no idea. I have not found the use for this yet. I'm sure it does something, but I don't have the manual anymore because this thing is over a decade old. So next up you have this dual button right here, which kind of adds another sound to the sound of the instrument you're playing. So I have the piano pulled up right now, but if I press dual, you get those nice pretty strings. Next up we have the split button, which kind of turns the bottom half of your keyboard into a different instrument. So here we've got bass, and still keyboard up top. The last button over here is sustain, and that's exactly what it sounds like. It's like having a sustain pedal, but you just have this button here. So without the sustain, and with, then there's these buttons right here. A song just plays through different songs. You can choose out of these what kind of songs you want to hear. And then over here you have the start and stop kind of stuff. I have no idea what this is. Oh, Jesus Christ. And then over here, as you're watching, you can see the... I'm going to stop that song before anything bad happens to me, but you can see the notes on the keyboard's display up here and learn what the notes are. Then you have the style button, which is just beats, and it's really cool. There's a bunch of different beats up here. You can choose with the plus and minus or the numbers, and there's a bunch of different stuff in here, and whichever one you feel like you want to hear, you just press the start stop button. And then if you want, you can change the drum beat by pressing this button here and having it fill into a separate type B beat, or in this case, beat A. And if you want a fancy ending, you can press this here. Pretty cool. You can also press the sync start button to have the beat start as soon as you press the first key. Or again, you can come here and have an intro into whichever part you want. Okay, and that's not even everything that it does. You can find these fucking things online for like $100, and they can do a lot. Like, if you have one of these keyboards and a way to record music, realistically, you could make a whole album of songs.
I really wish that we could run away, get through the pain of every mistake I've made. We went through hell and made a great escape, and maybe we could go back someday. I really wish that we could run away, get through the pain of every mistake I've made. We went through hell and made a great escape, and maybe we could go back someday. Take all my reasons away, I don't need them. I have everything I want and more right here. For now, I could keep rolling with this. You got everything I want and more for now. I think I'm okay. Get through the pain of every mistake I've made. We went through hell and made a great escape, and maybe we could go back someday. I don't need love, I have everything I need. I don't need love, I have everything I need. Yeah, I don't really know what to do when I'm around you. Been so long, I don't know what I'm coming back to. Memories were made, I gotta fight through, telling me stories I pushed out of my mind. You always stuck around even when I wasn't there. Half the time I kept the sound all around in the air. Feet on the ground, pushing down into the concrete, lighting the fire inside when I was down deep. Now I'm okay. For now, I really wish that we could run away, get through the pain of every mistake I've made. We went through hell and made a great escape, and maybe we could go back so